Hi guys, hi everyone. Welcome back to Blossom Living with POI. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. So, happy new month actually. We're in May already, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think the theme for this month is loneliness. But what I'm thinking of doing for this month is to do a check-in with everyone. So if you want to engage with me, definitely do. I'll do like a few like 30-second 1 minute reel, and I'll post it on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok as a check-in. So that's what I'm going to do this month. I'll do a check-in and also read a quote from our journal. So that's what I'm going to do for Mental Health Awareness Month. So definitely keep an eye out and just engage then. So today video, as the title is self-explanatory, I'm going to be talking about the HRT that I've been on since last year. So the way I'm going to start this video is there was a question that was put out to me a while ago, and I'm going to discuss that first. Then I'll go into talking about the type of HRT I'm on, how long I've been on them, and how I take them. I'm not going to go too in depth in regards to how I've been feeling on them. I'll do a separate video for individual products and go more in depth in the later on as we go. So there was a question that was put out to me that says, how did I know I needed to change, adjust, or get a higher HRT dose? So I'm going to talk about that from my own experience. So number one is symptoms. And I've talked about this many times on my previous video about how I always fed, and also because I suffer from overactive thyroid and sometimes goes into underactive, that everything was always blamed on my thyroid in terms of a lot of symptoms I was feeling. Even though I kind of knew that I needed a higher dose of HRT, I needed to change my HRT, and I knew that my HRT, which was the femistol counting I was on, was no longer working. I was on the femistol counting and the other type of femistone was no longer working. I just knew something needed to be done. So some of the symptoms, that's why I always say listen to your body. So some of the symptoms were clotted bleeding. So I was having spotting. My bleed was spotted. My bleeding was clotted. And because I was on the continuous HRT, I'm not supposed to bleed. But this after, like I was on the femistone for years. So this is after years I started to spot, and my bleed was very clotted. Like, I have pictures on my phone actually. I'm the type of person that always take pictures just in case, because you never know. So I have pictures on my phone whereby it's very thick, like thick and clotted, and I was also having pelvic pain, constant pelvic pain as well. My joints and my hips. So I think I talked about how my joints, like especially with my knees, became such a big issue that it actually affected my daily activities. I remember going to my GP and I was asked to try different things, then asked to actually go to physiotherapy, which I did. I did physiotherapy for a while, and that did not help. I think that actually made the pain worse for me. So I was just trying different things. They also did like a MRI scan. They did a X-ray scan. There was no issue there, but the pain. So, walking became an issue for me because I was in pain. I couldn't do high impact exercise because of the pain, and physio didn't help. It made the pain worse. So joint, hip, chronic fatigue. I was constantly tired and like tired, so tired. I felt like I was using my last energy to kind of complete every single daily task in terms of walking, in terms of doing anything that I needed to do. I was basically just using my last energy and constantly have to nap always. I was tired of being tired, essentially. And I have a list here. I was angry, I was upset, sleeping issues. I was having issues with sleeping. I could not sleep. Hot flashes, night sweats, spotting, I said about that, headaches, pelvic pain, brain fog, memory issues. It was bad. And vagina dryness. And I think this is something I've also talked about before, where I've always experienced vagina dryness and I brought it up. a while back, and I was told, I was prescribed a Vagifem, but I was told not to take Vagifem because I wasn't having sex. I hope I can say sex on YouTube. Anyway, I wasn't having sex. So I was told not to take Vagifem. So I had to kind of endure and suffer a lot of vaginal issues. Even like the slightly arousal was very, very sore for me. So I think I kind of knew how bad my Vagifem was. I kind of knew how bad my vaginal dryness was when I actually started Vagifem. And so those were some of the symptoms. There was so much more, and these actually started a long time ago, and I knew I just wasn't right. That's what they said, listen to your body. I just wasn't feeling right. And then I requested for a blood test. So I requested for an FSH and LSH. FSH and LH. So my FSH was 98, and this was last year. My FSH was 98. I was like, whoa, this is almost close to the point where I was diagnosed at the age of 19, which was like around 135. That's 135, more than that when I was diagnosed. That was my FSH. The FSH is high, so I'm not actually getting, and also I think I gathered this knowledge because of I started to do my own research. I started to read more about HRT. I started to learn more, so that's how I was able to gather all this knowledge as well too, and then requested for a blood test. So I wrote down all my symptoms. I requested for a blood test. FSH was 98, LH was 66, and this was just last year. Then, so those were the two reasons. And then the third one was I started to learn more about different type of HRT, especially with the body identical HRT, the patch. I had started with the patch when I started my HRT years ago, but I was on the county. So I started to learn more about HRT, the patch, which was like more safer, and the progesterone, which is like in the likes of the user, in the likes of this one here, which is, this one. So I started to learn more about this as well too, that this was actually much safer. Like it was made from like natural ingredient like yam, and it's more identical to our own natural body hormones that our body creates, so our body produce. So I started to learn more about HRT, and I wanted to, I've been on the oral tablet for a long time, the Femistone, so I wanted to change. And so that was a perfect opportunity for me to change my HRT in addition to my symptoms and my blood test. And so I knew straight away, something had to be done. So I started going for appointments, and it was really hard to get anybody to listen to me. I think it was hard because there were not people that had more knowledge about menopause or POI, especially for a young woman like me. I remember being told like my estrogen was 168, and I had all the symptoms, and I was told, oh no, your estrogen is fine, you're okay, everything is fine. It could be your thyroid, that's why you're feeling this way. There you go, take more thyroid medication. You need to do this for your thyroid. And I talked about the clotted bleeding. No one was listening to me. I think they were just afraid to actually increase my HRT or even change it because they didn't have much knowledge. I'm just gonna leave it there. So it was hard. So, and I kept pushing. I was willing to go private because this was a public. I was willing to go private. I started looking for private clinics and stuff like that. There's not much private clinics around here in Ireland. So, and especially when you're starting to do your own research and look for clinic, you're trying to find the best clinic, and you're trying to find someone who's actually specialized in menopause POI, because you want someone that can help you, so you don't start going in loop all over again. So guys, those were the three main reasons I knew that something needed to be done. My HRT needed to be changed. I needed to adjust it. I cannot keep living the way I was living. It was so bad. It was just too bad. And then, like I said, the symptoms, blood test. So always listen to your body and do blood test. And FSH is way high, 98. I'm sure you guys know when you were initially diagnosed, it was 100 and something. It was way high. And the reason I learned that, the reason why it's so high is because, your body is actually screaming for those hormones, but it doesn't have enough to feed on. That's the best way to explain it. It doesn't have enough to actually feed on. So it's trying to kind of get it from somewhere, and then you're experiencing all the symptoms, and then you're just like, what is going on? So yeah. And then so those were the 3 reasons. What else? And so let's see. Then it came down to actually changing over to HRT. So up to this point now, I still don't have a menopause POI specialist here in Ireland. I'm currently under the care of Dr. Louise Nassin in the UK, so private. And I actually received a letter about this last month regarding seeing as with an appointment to see what was it again? To see someone. What's the name? Oh God, I'm going blank, guys. To see a reproductive specialist. So this after I've gone to see them a couple of times, and I especially the last time I went, and when they booked an appointment for me, I went down, and when I went down, they were like, "What HRT are you on?" I told them everything I was on. I told them I was on the estrogen 200, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's way too high. You shouldn't be on that." I showed them all my resources. I told them, like, you know, who my doctor was, and these are the resources and everything, and how I was feeling, the way I was feeling. They were like, "No, you can't be on that. That's way too high." I was like, "That's fine." I think at the end of the day, they told me I can't be under their care. I was like, "Well, I don't really want to be under their care because they've not really done much for me." Anyway, so now they sent a letter, and they've actually referred me to a different doctor this time that deals with reproductive. So we're going to see how that goes with the care of Dr. Louise Nissen in the UK. And I'm going to say she's actually changed. I know it's like she's actually changed the way I feel for the better. That's how I can. She's actually changed the way I feel for the better, because the way I've always felt, I thought that was normal. That's how I'm supposed to feel, and that's okay. At least I'm taking something that's supposed to. At least I'm on HRT. I'm on these hormones that my body's not producing. At least this is how I'm supposed to feel. It's okay. I just have to kind of live with it. But when you start to actually learn more, just say educate yourself with these things, and it gives you the power to be able to advocate for yourself, to be able to speak up, because then you know what you're talking about. You might not be a doctor, but you're the patient. You know how you feel, and then you have evidence, fact to back them up. It actually motivates you to actually advocate for yourself for a better treatment. Sure, you know, so let's go back to the HRT. So on the 2nd of August 2021, I started the estradiol patch. So the estradiol patch that I started is this. So obviously I started with the estradiol patch 100, but with the shortage issue that's going on right now, I'm only able to get the 50s, right? So when I started with the estradiol patch, I dropped something, one moment. So when I started with the estradiol patch, I keep dropping stuff. So when I started with the estradiol patch, I started with 100. So I was taking 100 one patch of the 100 twice a week. So I changed it twice a week, and I was on that for 6 weeks. Then after 6 weeks, I was taking 2 patches of 200 twice weekly. So I've been on the 200 up to date since the 6 weeks. Then obviously I also started the progesterone, which is what I've already shown earlier. So I'm on the 100 with this one, and I take this once a day, once daily, and I take it at night. So I'm currently actually taking this progesterone right now. I'm taking it like so this is my regime, guys. So this is what I'm on. So I'm actually taking this at the moment. I started 2 weeks ago. I'm taking like 2 one night and then 1 another night. I'm kind of rotating it because of it's been 9 months since I've been on this, and I'm not supposed to be bleeding because it's continuous. But I've been bleeding. So I spoke to my doctor, and she said, you know, when your body gets all this amount of hormones, it's trying to balance itself out. So I should take this 2 one night, 1 night for a month and see how that goes. So that's what I'm currently doing. But normally I was on one of these daily. I'll talk more about that later. Then I started the Vagifem. This Vagifem saved me. This Vagifem has saved my life from painful arousals. So I started the Vagifem. So it's the 10 tablet, and I can open this actually because it's alright. So yeah, and then it just has that in there. So I started this, I was on this every day for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, it was twice a week. But I've actually stopped the Vagifem. I stopped it last month because I feel like now I'm okay with the testosterone and the high estrogen. I feel like now things are kind of okay down there now. So but I'm keeping an eye on it. And also with this, I learned that Vagifem can also contribute to a high libido. So with the testosterone and this, my libido was, yeah. So when I spoke to my doctor, I'm like, this is how I'm feeling. She was like, oh, enjoy it. You've never felt this way before. I was like, yeah, but it's a bit new to me. I've never actually had such a high libido like this. It's too much. Let's do something about that. So she asked me to take this for once a week for a month, and then if I feel like I need to stop, then I can stop. But if I feel like the dryness gets worse later on, I can always go back on it. So I've stopped this for now. I'm not on this. And yeah, libido is better. It's still there, but it's not as it was too bad before. It's not as bad as before. It was just too much. I was not used to it. No, jeez. Okay, yeah. So that's a Vagifem. So what else? Then I was on testosterone. So when I started the testosterone, I started with the Androfem, right? I was trying to keep this video to 10 minutes, but it's gonna be long. It is an important one. So I started with the Androfem. This is what it's like. I started with this, and I was on the 0.5 ml daily. And so this is prescribed privately. And as far as I'm concerned, it's only the Dr. Lewis clinics that prescribe this privately, and it's within the private units there, and it's an Australia Androfem, the first female Androfem that was approved in Australia by the TGA. I googled them. TGA, it's TGA approved, which is the Australian Medicine Regulator Authority, and it's not available worldwide. Hopefully in the future it would be. And this was really good. I really liked it. It's a cream. It was really nice and easy to use, but I could not afford it any longer. To have it shipped to me from the UK than here was extremely expensive. It was costing me almost 200 euros, and this only lasts like 3 months. Like it doesn't even last. It's supposed to be 3 months, but it doesn't even last up to 3 months. So like every 3 months I would spend like 200 and something euros. It was just too much. So I knew straight away that I needed an alternative. So the alternative was, I have it here, one moment. So the alternative was this, which is the male version of it, the male testosterone gel. Yeah. So with this one, it's a sachet. What I do is you use 1 sachet within 10 days. Unless if you need more dose, then obviously you use 1 sachet less than 10 days. But I use 1 sachet within 10 days. So what I do is I actually open this up and I pour it into a jar. So and I just use from the jar and just apply on a daily basis. So that's what I'm currently on. So these are all the HRT I've been on since August last year, which is now 9 months. 9 months, I believe. Yeah, 9 months going to, probably 8 or 9 months going to a year soon. And yeah, yeah, let me just tidy up. Vagifem. If you're suffering for vaginal dryness, guys, speak to your GP. You don't have to be having sex to be able to take Vagifem. That's what was said to me, but that was not the case. I was told that's not the case. You can take it. Even if it's needed, if you're suffering for vaginal dryness, you can take it if it's needed, especially someone like me who suffers from premature ovarian insufficiency. And yeah, so at this point, I stopped the Vagifem, one, because the high libido, and two, I felt like the amount of estrogen I'm taking and the testosterone has actually helped down there. So it's how I feel it helped. Not much of a dryness compared to before it. So that's why I'm like, okay, I feel comfortable to change it now. So hopefully things continue smoothly, and I just keep an eye on myself. And yeah, so that's how I'm going to stop this video today. Like I said, I will do a follow-up video on each of this item to discuss them further in terms of how I've been feeling on them and how they're going, and some of the pros and cons. And yeah, also the gel. So I think with my last video, if you've not seen it, I only used the gel for like 2 weeks, and then I've not used it since then. The only reason why I have the gel was because of the shortage issue. So I have it as a backup. So when there's no patch, I use the gel. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the gel. Not a big fan of it. I prefer the patch. Guys, that is it. For those that does not know much about Body Identical HRT, I'll leave a link below. Go read it. And I also leave a link about testosterone for, go read more about testosterone as well if you want to. I'll leave a link below. And also, what else will I leave a link for? So yeah, Body Identical HRT, testosterone. Yeah, I'll leave a link. And if you do have my journal, like if you have the journal as well too, there's some great resources there that talks about different type of HRT, testosterone, and there's some great resources as well there. But if not, I'll just leave a link below with those two important ones. And yeah, guys, so I'll leave this video here today, and leave a comment below if you have any questions, or you can DM me, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care now. Bye.